Hello, I'm Brennan Way. You're listening to The Booth. The premise of the show is simple. Two guests and myself recording this in a small, cramped, unair-conditioned room. The longer they're here, the more they'll suffer, so fortunately I'm willing to give them the chance to leave, but only after they complete games. Whoever I judge the winner at the end of the show gets their freedom. Whoever is left has to stay on for another week in another edition. Let's meet the victims. First up, she's a vocal and choral studies student who's also an a cappella singer. Let's hope she's making notes. It's KORA KIRBY!
Hi!
Next up, we learnt last week he wasn't able to do A-level photography. Let's give him a shot. Stuck here from episode 1, it's Mark Wilkinson!
Oh dear God, help me.
Now before we start, Mark, I must apologise. Last week I forewent the opening small talk and didn't ask how you are. Could you now answer that question for me as if it was a whole 7 days ago? How are you?
I'm grand.
How are you now?
I'm also grand.
Great. You're chipper despite being here a week.
There's no food, there's no water, and I've had to make a little kind of potty in the corner, but other than that, life is good.
Cora, how are you?
I'm alright. I haven't been here quite as long and it's starting to smell in here, so maybe you should get out of here sometime soon.
I would like that very much.
Right, later I'll be asking you for your weirdest ever thoughts, so rack your brains and make sure you've something to out-odd your rival. Now, this particular episode is about home life. Have either of you ever lived anywhere?
I'm afraid I have.
Yes.
You're afraid you have?
In more places.
You're disappointed.
Yes.
It's a bad thing you've lived
It is
somewhere.
a bad thing, yes.
You'd prefer to be roaming free?
Exactly, like the littlest hobo.
Right. That was last week's story. Great, then we'll start with our first round. It's the good, the bad and the funny. In this anecdote off, each of you will relate your best, worst and funniest times at an event or rite of passage. Every time we hear sad stories, I'll judge one as more interesting, thus winning its tether point. This week your tale should involve your family or your home. Who wants to start?
I will.
Okay. Go ahead. Good story.
Good time. This is actually a story which doesn't sound like a good story. It involves my father's car being stolen.
Great. Promising start.
But the caveat to that is that he had taken myself and my younger brother on holiday to Blackpool.
Nice. See
And
the tower?
it got to the last day. We'd been having the tower. There's a fun fair. There's Blackpool
Right.
Pleasure Beach. So we were on the fun fair every day.
That sounds very dirty. Pleasure Beach.
Pleasure
Sounds like
Beach.
a euphemism.
It does. Luckily, I was too young to realise that at the
Absolutely.
time. But nevertheless, we had great fun on the fun fair. And then on the last day, we popped round to the street where my father had parked his car, or thought he had parked his car.
Yes.
And we walked up and down it a couple of times, and he scratched his head, and we looked around the neighbouring streets. And in the end, we realised that the car must have actually been stolen. Now, that sounds like a terrible thing.
Yeah,
But we
how
were
are you
in
gonna get
Blackpool.
back?
Exactly.
Right.
And my father had no choice but to extend the stay in the hotel for another 3 or 4 days.
Yeah!
While
Woo!
it
Fun
continued.
fair.
Fun fair, arcades, beach, everything you could possibly want from a holiday, basically, as an 11-year-old boy.
Oh, great. Until what was he hoping would happen? The car would come back of its own accord?
I think
Was
they
it
were
Herbie?
hoping that they might find the car. It was actually, no, it was in the days of, he likes a bit of a chavvy motor, my dad. It was an Escort XR3, which is an old car, but was considered quite sporty at the time, bit of a target for thieves.
Okay.
It was found kind of crashed and with the radio nicked somewhere in Manchester a few days later. But he did get it back.
In that condition?
In that condition.
Why would he want it back? You know
was-
what? Radio's broken. I don't want it.
No, he
you
got
can
it
keep
fixed.
it.
I think, I'm pretty sure, from memory, he got it fixed up and he got it back and it was all okay. The insurance sorted it all out. But we got an extended holiday.
Can't argue with that.
We got fun. It was a wonderful
Your car should get
time.
stolen more often.
Absolutely. Well, not my car. I can't afford to replace my car and I'm not in Blackpool.
True. Cora.
Alright, so when I was 10, my dad always organised these really extravagant birthday parties for me, which consisted of me inviting like 5 or 6 people, very extravagant, and then he would make something fun out of the day. My birthday's in November, so it's generally very cold. We had a treasure hunt that my dad planned around the area, so he hid little Kinder egg
Sure.
shells, the little yellow things,
Mhm.
all over the area, taped them to trees and to bridges and stuff.
Oh, good, because if they were just lying about, people would throw them away.
Yeah, of course. And also, if it's out and about in a big city, the guarantee of them staying there is not
Yeah,
necessarily
absolutely.
great. So I was always really intrigued by the fact that my dad would know where the next one was if one of them was missing, because I was like, how does he know these things?
Because he put them there.
Yeah, but I didn't know that at the time.
Well, you thought he just said, "Ooh, these have been found and
I
left by
don't.
some pirate."
Yeah, because we were all dressed in funny clothes that my mom had sewn before.
Right.
So we were wandering around, and then there was the crucial clue, and it was meant to be taped to a bridge. And my friend went on the bridge and he reached for it and he dropped it in the water. And it was the last one, and I couldn't believe that we had lost it. But then my dad miraculously knew where the prize was, and the prize was my dad was going to pretend to be a magician. And he did all of these funny, snazzy things where he held up a piece of cloth and he'd make a spoon float behind it, and all of these things that he has never done a magic show in his life before then, I don't think, or since then.
But it was good.
But it was good for a 10-year-old, so yeah, that's my good story.
So what was actually in the final egg? A clue? So it
A
wasn't
clue
like,
as to find where the magician was playing.
Right, so he took you to the magician?
He took me to see him.
But he was with you at the time, so
he went somewhere and he changed and he reappeared.
Wait here. Did you recognise him?
Yes.
It might have been a great disguise.
No. Just a cloak and some funny shoes.
Cool.
Wait, other clothes as well, right?
Yes. Not everyone is as dirty as you.
There's no showers in the booth. Of course I'm dirty.
I've been here with Mark for too long.
I never get to leave. I control you two, but who controls me? I don't know. They don't let me go.
I suspect Dan.
Yeah. Especially when he was laying underneath the table stroking your legs before.
Yeah.
Definitely in control.
Yeah. All the past contestants never actually leave. Just a front. We're all here.
Somewhere. In the walls.
We're all somewhere, man.
Deep. That's deep.
Right. So, okay, both the tales of enterprising dads. One whose car got stolen and one who is a magician. I think the magician's story is sweet just because of the amount of planning, and he knows where everything is. I think you get the first point.
Yay!
Okay, bad stories involving your family or your home. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I'm going to have to use a bad word here. I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you about a phenomenon invented by an ex-partner of mine known as the drive-by kitting. Now...
Oh, God. That sounds horrific.
In order to perform the drive-by kitting, what you need to do is to have been split up with by your partner, i.e. me, and then to be very, very angry about it. And you wait for this ex-partner of yours to finish work of an evening.
Oh, God.
And to be either walking home or going to the pub, possibly for an after-work drink with some friends. And then you pull up at high speed in your car, slam the brakes on, wind down the window and shriek before driving
Mature,
off.
very mature.
Not only that, but when you realise he's with his friends, you spin the car round, speed back, stop again, get out and shout, "You're all too," to his friends. And this went on for a period of several weeks until the game got a bit stale.
Also sounds a bit stalkerish.
Nevertheless, I actually, while not liking it at the time, think it shows a certain level of enterprise and dedication. And I think that the drive-by thing does deserve to go down as a recognised move.
Yeah.
In a repertoire of exes everywhere.
Ironically, she was the one who ended it. Crazy woman.
Never quite goes down as planned, does it?
No.
I don't think you need to even be in a relationship. You could play that game with anyone.
You could, just randomly on the street, but I think it has more emotional effect if there's someone you really know involved, yeah.
Yeah, it would just be abuse if it's a stranger's. You might lose your friends if you do it to them.
Yes.
Unless they're in on it.
Yeah.
Cora.
My bad home life story is I live in an apartment complex in Berlin. So it's a old building and it has a really big entrance hall and it also has kind of a cellar area, but it's not actually a cellar. There's now offices, but it used to be an apartment, so it's like half out of the ground.
Right.
Anyway, so there used to be these people living there. And then one morning, there was an ambulance outside the door. And it turned out that one of the people had died. But it was kind of funny because when we were opening the window and listening to what was going on, the woman was explaining how her husband had died, and she was like, I don't know what happened. It was just, he had a sausage and he choked on his sausage, and I don't know what happened. It happened so quickly. And she had quite a strange German accent, which I'm not going to repeat here because I'm just going to be really bad at it. But
Despite being from Germany.
Well, yeah, but they have different dialects too that I
True.
can't imitate. Plus, no one would understand anyway, so... What?
Quite a stereotype that they died choking on a sausage.
Yeah, but it was not a sausage. It was like a mini sausage, so it's like a Würstchen.
It was a cocktail weenie.
Yes, that. So he
Died
choked
on
on that and he
with a
died. Yeah, but
cocktail
they were...
weenie.
Yes, but they were also alcoholics. So maybe he was drunk and then he choked on the sausage. I don't know, but that is
That makes the story sad.
Drunk in charge of a sausage. It's not really...
Well, that's the worst memory I have that goes along with that building.
That's why you never eat sausages anymore.
This is why I'm a vegetarian.
They can kill. If you take anything from today's show, don't drink, sausage eat.
And laugh at the same time, maybe? Maybe he was laughing.
Sausages are funny. Well, everything's funny when you're drunk. It's a Monday. People have work tomorrow.
If it was Monday, some people have worked today.
Yeah, today's a Tuesday in podcast world, but who knows when you're listening to this.
Exactly.
Maybe it's a Sunday night and you do have work tomorrow.
In which case, you have our sympathies.
Or not.
Depending on whether we like you or not.
Yeah,
Right,
so that's it.
I must say, drunk sausage eating and drive-by sounds like a police offence. Variation on drink and drive. Yeah, okay. To be fair, I like both stories. For the first time, I'm going to make it a draw. You both get a point.
Hey!
High five.
Okay, a funny story involving family or home life.
I'll go.
Let me just explain what happened. In the silence, there was a, after you gesture. We're very polite in the booth, even though it's technically a competition and you want to fight to get out. Anyway, yes, Cora.
So, again, in my apartment complex, there's this big entrance hall, and the door of the entrance hall used to be kind of funny, so you could push against it to get it open without actually having to use a key.
Mm-hmm.
If you kicked the right part of the bottom of the door, it would open. And
Any
one
advice
evening,
if you want to break into the
they
apartment?
fixed it now.
Plus,
Plus, that wouldn't get you into my apartment. That would just get you into the big building. It doesn't actually get you into the apartment. But anyway.
That's fine.
So, late one evening, my mom and I woke up and we were like, okay, got some water in the kitchen and just hung out for a little. And then there were strange noises, and we just thought, okay, we're on the ground floor, so our apartment is level with the entrance hall. And we were just kind of confused and stuff. So it turned out that a couple had gotten into our entrance hall and were having very drunk but loud doggy-style sex in our entrance hall.
Classy.
Because you can hear the clapping, it's just not fun. We were just like, what's going on? And so we just kind of stood in the kitchen laughing, and it sounded like they kept starting again, like they kept reattempting to because they were so drunk and it didn't actually go anywhere. And in the morning, the next day, my grandma lives in the flat above ours, so I went to go see my grandma. And on the way, there was those hand towels from a restaurant somewhere, bundled up in a corner, and I was just like, it wasn't just spontaneous; it was a plan. Somebody took those towels with the intention of going somewhere to have sex with someone. So I thought, okay, of all the places they had to choose, did they have to choose the hallway of this house? There aren't even any snazzy pubs or bars right near our house, so it must have been a really long plan to get somewhere. So
wow, and they sort of slightly sobered up to get in there.
Or not, maybe that's why it took them so long.
Yeah. They took the bottles with them.
Whacked each other over the head with it after and this is not working.
That'd be a terrible day. Let's break into an apartment, drink, and then do it.
Oh, God. Loudly in the middle of a stairwell.
Nice.
Well, to each their own. Mark?
Oh, I need a story now.
Yeah, that's how the game works.
Yeah. I'm going to use the introduction of my brother to hard liquor
Okay.
Because I have a younger brother, a few years younger than me. There was a point, I think it was my 17th birthday, where I'd found a friendly off licence where I could get served alcohol, and I was very happy about that. So myself, my friend Simon, and my younger brother settled down to an evening with my mum safely out the way, and
Whoa, what had you done to her? Just
knocked her on the head, put her in a cupboard, yeah. No. She'd agreed that she'd go and stay with my gran.
Wink, wink. You boys have fun.
Exactly. Sadly, she was aware of my limited capabilities and thought I probably couldn't do any damage even if I wanted to. But yeah, not one but two Daniels we had between the three of us, bearing in mind that I'd been drinking for about a year. But yes, we started. All seemed to be going terribly well. Got towards the bottom of the first bottle, and my brother wasn't looking great, and it began to dawn on me that there might be consequences if Mum came out. So we decided to go out for a walk. We thought the best thing to do was to get some fresh air. Let's all go out for a walk. Now, of course, being the hard young lads that we were, me and Simon had cigarettes too. So we were wandering down the street, smoking, talking probably incredibly loudly, as you do when you're very, very drunk. And we got kind of halfway down the street. We thought, well, steady here, steady your pace. Sat down on a wall, started talking. Simon standing to one side of me, my brother sitting on the wall there. Had a couple of minutes of conversation, turned round, my brother had disappeared completely. So we're looking to the left, looking to the right. Has he gone home? Look over the wall, and he is flat on his back, legs in the air. Absolutely. Not really my seeming to mind very much. Just kind
how
of
steep
flat
was the
on
drop?
It was a few feet. It was probably sort of 4 foot, but it was actually onto soil. It wasn't onto concrete or anything too tough. It was a flower bed. And pick him up. Decide we're going to carry on our walk. Get to a patch of green where we sometimes as kids used to walk dogs, but there's like the A27 runs the other side of it, quite a main road. And anyway, Ian decides he's suddenly going to go for a run. And he's sort of like zigzagging his way along the green towards the A27. Simon decides that's a really bad idea.
Yep.
Legs it after him. Rugby tackles him spectacularly, brings him to the ground. There's a minor punch up, and then we all carry on our way.
Lovely.
Get back. The last thing I remember of the evening is...
Oh, you returned to the drinks.
We returned to the drinks. We had another drink just because we thought, well, if we mix it with more Coke, we'll actually be getting more sober rather than drunker. That was our thinking at the time,
The wonderful logic.
Yeah, the logic of the drunk.
Yeah.
But Simon, I think, either went to sleep in the spare room or went home. I can't remember which. I remember getting my brother into bed with lots of, you cannot tell Mum about this. You cannot tell Mum about this.
Surely he's got marks from the wall and the punch-up.
And then, well, you can just say that we were play fighting.
Yeah, okay.
But the thing is that we remember thinking, dodged a bullet. Yeah. Everything's all right. I've survived. And that was the point at which I vomited a waterfall of Jack Daniels and Coke down the staircase from the top of the stairs.
Oh. Dead giveaway. Mum comes home and sees that. It's like,
Yeah. Did you even attempt to clean it?
I fell asleep curled up at the top of the stairs, and then I had to deal with it dried the next morning before she came home with a raging hangover.
Was it carpeted or was it?
It was a pretty steady. Yeah, it was carpeted. It was a carpeted stairwell, and it was no small amount of liquid I'd dispersed either.
Icky.
So yeah, funny again in retrospect at the time.
I think you guys have confused gross with funny.
Well, maybe.
Both quite depraved stories. I have to award points to one of those. Yeah, okay, I think... the rugby tackle gets it. If I imagine that was all that happened, I can sort of say that's a funny story. Okay. Right, let's go upstairs now to fight over who gets the top bunk and then share a few weird thoughts. Give each of your weirdest ponderings in turn and we'll see if we can see some sense in them. Whoever ends up sounding the least rational wins the round. Who wants to go first?
Oh.
Can I have a prompt?
Yes.
Idea of some kind, because I'm stuck.
No, that's fine. Animals. Ever thought anything about animals?
Okay, let me think about it.
Okay, we'll go to Mark first.
I'm not sure. I've got a worrying fear that my thought might be rational and therefore disqualified.
Well, okay.
Yeah. I was thinking that we only really have one political party in the UK, and they've got Liberal Democrats, you've got Labour, you've got Conservatives. All of those people, their leaders, their party elite, all went to Oxford, all did the same philosophy, politics and economics exam, and so they're all going to come out from their education into their political parties with exactly the same viewpoints, taught by exactly the same lecturers with exactly the same backgrounds. Now, given that that's the case, when you choose a political party in England, you're really voting for whether you like red, yellow or blue.
I like purple.
Then I think it's UKIP for you, right? Or possibly the Raving Loony Monster Party. Yeah.
Ooh, they're all raving loonies.
Well, yeah, they are. But yeah.
Voting's for your favourite colour. Wow.
We have colours also.
What, in Germany?
Yes.
You also have colours. Excellent.
I'm glad to hear. I'd always picture Germany as this drab monochrome because I've only ever seen war movies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have red. Most people know we have red.
Yes.
No, we have all sorts of colours for our political parties.
Cool.
Good.
But do they offer differing viewpoints, or are they very much the same with slightly different spin?
Depends.
Okay.
It depends.
Unless you go into the extremes of kind of like the whole sort of like very right or very left, where it's either communism or
Yeah, that's
fascism.
true. And the rest in the middle are
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, they haven't said that. I'll say that then.
It is very much that. Or they've said that. I should also say that. Show I'm in touch.
Or they said that, so I shall say the exact opposite just to see what I can do with it.
Don't vote for anyone. That's our message today. Up the people.
Rainbow.
Rainbow Party. Yeah.
Yeah, vote for all the colours. Wait, wouldn't the Rainbow Party be, LGBT?
Probably. But they couldn't do any worse than the Conservatives. In fact, considerably better, I suspect.
Yeah, that's a good thought.
Maybe.
Turn the world over to them. Be a happier, simpler place.
With unicorns.
Yeah. Unicorns for all. That'd be their campaign
That's
slogan.
Yeah. That's what the world needs.
Jumping over the equality rainbow. An uplifting thought.
There we go. Positivity, negativity.
Yeah. Cora, you got any other world-changing ideas?
Well, I can interject with a weird idea that I had recently
Mm-hmm.
on the subject of animals. So, fish, they have their fins upright, and whales and dolphins have them horizontal
Yes.
because they're mammals and fish. But
Is that the reason? Okay.
yes. However, whales and hippos are very closely related. Yes. So,
Are they
why?
both mammals?
Yes.
Yes, they
Right.
are.
I've
Well,
never really thought about it.
I think the closest mammal that's related to whales is the hippo. So, this means
Already
that
this has blown my mind.
that a fish developed to then go on land and then go back into the water, even though other mammals
I don't like
are
it in
surviving
here. Back to the water,
on
back to the water.
land. Yeah. So what happened to make that development of, I'll go back to the water where I actually came from, now that I've developed sideways and lungs?
They got very dry. They were thirsty. They wanted to swim.
Well, the movement that whales make through the water is galloping. It's the same spinal movement as a horse. So why...
Okay, again, you're blowing my mind. Horses relate to whales. Well, not related to whales. That'd be weird. That
Yeah,
union would not happen.
Distant cousins speak a different language. Whales are more like... and horses do something that I can't imitate.
I love the fact it was the horse that you were worried about imitating. I would have thought.
Well, I recently watched that scene from Finding Nemo where Dory does the whale talk, and I just love it. It is so good. I'm pissing myself with laughter when I was watching it the other day.
I have a friend who says that she's going to go speed dating and she's going to use that that whale voice as the voice for all of the speed dates.
She wants to be single, right?
I think she wants to see someone who has a sense of humour.
When she goes up to them and says, "We need to find his son."
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
They might think she has some serious medical problem.
They might, but equally, I think I'm going to go just to watch it. Yeah.
It's not a spectator sport.
That ties back into my family life because my mom always puts me as, or designates Disney and Pixar characters to me. Or she says that I'm like the donkey from Shrek mixed with Dory from Finding Nemo.
That's not very complimentary.
That's yeah.
Maybe I have short-term memory loss. I don't know.
Can't remember.
Just keep saying.
Excellent. Did we ever actually answer the question regarding the galloping? There was one.
I'm just saying, I think it's weird that there was
Oh, right,
an
yeah. Why
animal
did they go back to water?
that came from the water, developed and changed everything to then be on land
And
in
then
order
go
to
back.
go back to the water. Because there's only 2 species that are like that.
Do you not think that's likely to be too much competition for whatever resources or too many predators? I mean, just being
Chased
boring
back in.
about it, but sort of like it's got to be either the resources they need, the food they wanted to eat, or that there were too many predators for them to survive.
But there are so many animals that survived on land just fine. Why did the whale one decide, oh, I'm going to go back to the water?
I love that accent.
Yeah,
That's how whales speak.
That is amazing.
They've devolved to going,
Yeah.
woo.
When they speak, actually, they go, ooh, oh, so.
I suspect
I miss land.
it's actually really difficult for an animal of that size to get all of the nutrition it needs on land from wherever it needs to get it. If you think it's bigger than, whales are bigger than elephants. They're the largest mammal.
But they only developed that big when they were in the water because the water allows for them to be that big. If they were on land, they would collapse because of gravity.
So,
Also, you don't find krill and plankton on land.
well, no, exactly. So they'd have to change their food source, and maybe that could well be one of the reasons.
Whales don't want to change. They're very stubborn. Very
Well,
conservative
How
in their
strange
views.
is that, though? That's such a
that
big
is,
animal
yeah.
that eats, like, the
The
tiniest little thing.
tiniest.
Which means they have to eat so much
Mm.
in order to get enough protein from this mini little...
It is amazing.
It'd be like us eating ants.
Yes,
for a living.
for a living. Yeah,
It's not their job.
But it's full time for whales.
Yeah.
it's
Full-time eating is
there's
their
no
job.
holidays,
Eating and
yeah.
reproducing.
Well, that's the basic desires of anything.
Except us, because we do other things. Like full-time jobs.
And podcasts.
All those silly things.
Hopefully that would be a full-time job, but I'm not getting my hopes up.
Don't hold your breath.
Not in here. Well, actually, in here it might be an idea.
Might be useful, yeah.
Yeah, we kicked over your potty.
Oh, no. You should probably take your foot out of it now.
It's stuck. Okay. So, have we actually answered the whale question? We got distracted again.
No, I think we had a go.
Right.
We our finest minds are on the job.
I think it's a job
It's
for
got to be better than
further-
Megan Fox in some advert wants to talk to dolphins. I forget what that was advertising.
I'm not sure I've seen it.
Good.
Me neither.
You're saved.
Okay.
Just be reassured there is an ad out there where Megan Fox talks to dolphins and it's instrumental in her desire to make that happen.
What's the ad for?
Possibly laptops, I'm not sure. Exactly. These,
Of all the things.
yeah, the creative minds behind ads, they continue to astonish me.
There's that band advertisement that has surfaced recently that most people, like a bunch of people have posted on Facebook. It's a Skittles advertisement where
Oh, yeah.
there's a couple and they're having sex. And then the guy comes and it's in Skittles. So it's just like an explosion of Skittles all over the girl. And he's like, taste the rainbow.
Oh, God! No!
And it's horrible, but it's so hilarious. But I don't know how, I don't know if it was a real thing or if it's like a
Spoof or
or
they
something,
could
but
never-
it was
they
a
could
banned advertisement, apparently.
It can't be a real ad. They would never show that at any time.
Yeah, but the thing is that you've got viral marketing, so you've got ads
True.
that they know they're never going to put on television. They wouldn't get past
And
the
if they say
censor.
they're
but
banned,
exactly. Then
they get
immediately
spread.
that's not a right.
They're
Yeah.
enticing.
Yeah.
Maybe I should say this is a banned podcast, and that'll get them.
Well, I did use the C word.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has become a very dirty podcast.
Well, they're a lot cleaner since Dan left the room.
Yeah. Although he's still hiding under the table, wasn't he?
He was. For a while.
Right, so tasting the rainbow of equality with our LGBT political party, or whales want to return to water.
I think they have. They're ahead of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's not a weird thought.
They've succeeded.
Yes. So why they did that? Yeah, I think Mark's right in that we did analyse the whale thing. So we did sort of solve that one. So I think, yeah, unicorn party it is.
Well done.
Thank you. It's alright. This is where it all goes wrong for me now.
This is where you faced your downfall last time.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, is that a fast burst of flames? That can only mean one thing. It's the quick fire round. In this final game, I'll ask you a series of questions whose answers relate to our theme. You not only have to get them right, but get in first. To help you to that end, you both have verbal buzzers. As this edition is all about relatives and siblings, Cora, you shout sister act, and Mark, you shout brother dance. Number 1. Which type of clock sounds like you're describing a fantastic dad?
Brother dance.
Mm-hmm.
Grandfather clock.
Correct. Which type of elderly male relative sounds like you're describing a fantastic clock?
Brother dance.
Yes.
Grandfather clock.
No.
Oh, damn it.
What type of elderly male relative sounds like you're describing a fantastic clock?
Brother dance grandfather.
A fantastic grandfather?
Fantastic.
Another one for fantastic?
Incredible.
Great grandfather.
Yes,
Sorry, sister act. Great grandfather.
Yeah.
Yes, Cora steals it. Number 3, which two-word phrase is both A, an indication that your mum's the best, and B, the head of a convent?
Brother dance.
Yes.
Mother superior.
Correct. Number 4, how do you describe your dad's brother who's not very trendy? Who's your dad's brother in relation to you?
Uncle. Uncle. Brother dance uncle.
Who got in first?
I don't know.
She didn't say sister.
No, I didn't
Right,
say sister
fine,
act.
okay.
No worries. Alright, I'll
Sorry,
give it
I'm
away.
dropping you in it. That's
That's fine.
Alright, number 5, final question. Which female relative is an insect that can lift several times their own body weight?
Oh, sister act. Ant.
Yes, correct.
in.
Okay, at the end of all that, we have a winner, but first a chance to plug. Panellists, is there anything you want the internet to know about?
Brendan is awesome.
Yeah, Brendan is pretty awesome.
Is that all? Yes, I'm agreeing.
Well, I can plug hierarchyofone.com because that's where my flash fictions reside. But I plugged that last week.
That's fine. People may not listen to last week.
It's a good point.
They should do. They should listen to every episode.
Visit hierarchyofone.com and read some flash fiction.
You should also make sure that you keep a date free as soon as they announce it, because when Brendan and Dan get married, I'm going to sing at their wedding, and I'm going to sing All I Want for Christmas Is You, because it's such a nice song when Brendan sings it. So, whenever
Surely you
they...
want me to sing it then?
No, you can join in later, but I'll sing it for you. You have to have your first dance to something. So, whenever they announce a date, that's a date that you need to save. That's my plug.
Brilliant. Okay, the final scores. Cora, you had 4 points, but this week's winner is Mark with 6.
I'm out!
Congratulations, Mark. You get to leave the booth. As for you, Cora, you get to listen to me tell you anecdotes about my silly male sibling. Oh, brother. Until next time, I'd like to thank KORA KIRBY, Mark Wilkinson, the MMC, and you for listening. I've been Brendan Way. This has been The Booth. Goodbye!